Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I know this is a weird sort of an intro, but Black Flag has finally been revealed. Well, the Resynced Black Flag has finally been revealed, and so this is my video on it. Now, as you guys know, I don't live in my home anymore. I live in a hostel, I have a roommate, so I had to get creative with this. So you guys will hear some cars go by because I'm outside. You guys will hear the wind buffeting at times, but at least I got to touch some grass. Technically those are leaves. There's not really grass here in a desert. So yeah, I'll stop wasting your time. Let's just get started with the video. But if you want to see the Burj Khalifa, it's like right there. I'll put that on the screen right now. Alright, so now on to the positive. Really have to get through them. Now, the first and the biggest point, and they made that very obvious right from the bat, that this is not an RPG. They specifically focused on it. So I have to talk about that. So now one of my biggest concerns was that this is going to end up being like Shadows or Odyssey, like Odyssey-fied version of Black Flag, but that's not the case. It's just Black Flag, but kind of what it wanted to be in the first place. Now, a bigger important point is the graphical presentation of the game. The graphics look stunning. Like, yeah, I feel like it's close enough to the original art style, but it's not quite there. But the changes that they have made still work. Like the way faces look, the way the lighting looks. In general, it works. It is much better than what they did for Assassin's Creed 3 remaster. So kudos to them for that. Like, this is a complete ground rebuild, so you get that. When you look at the actual game footage, you will definitely notice it. So yeah, the graphics are good. It's close enough to the original art style, so no problems for me there. The cutscenes look good, at least by Ubisoft standard. Don't expect cyberpunk level of faces here, but yeah, the cutscenes look good, especially for a Ubisoft game, which they haven't had good cutscenes in a decade. So yeah, definite improvement there. Now, another big important thing that they mentioned is the new story content, which yeah, we knew about that in the leaks, that they are going to add more story content. Now, this is somewhere where I'm a little bit mixed. I am very excited about what they're doing with the new content, like especially with the 3 new officers, their storylines, the way they affect gameplay, especially the naval gameplay. Then you will have new stories with Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet, which in my opinion, like Blackbeard, yeah, he was fairly present throughout the story, so we form a connection with him. But especially Stede Bonnet, like it always felt like they cut him out of the game. Like he just unnaturally says that he values Edward's friendship, even though we never saw that relationship being built. So yeah, it's good that they are going to expand more on the character, and hopefully it gives more of an impact when whatever happens. So yeah, that's all good. But the iffy part is the lack of the modern day. As I've said before, with Black Flag, modern day is a very important part. It wasn't very good, but it was very important. Because unless you understand the story, what was going on in the modern day, the context of Sages and Juno makes no sense. So I don't know how they will handle that. They said that it's not going to be the modern day that it used to be. They're going to have animus rifts like Shadows, which already I'm less excited about than I could have. Unless they bring back the rifts from Valhalla, where at least there were parkour puzzles, there was something to do. I don't know what's going to happen. So we don't know. But the narratives, those parts are being read. So it's going to show more of Edward's character. So like I heard from somewhere that it's going to be like what if scenarios, like what if Edward joined the Templars. There is a very interesting thing that came into my mind when I heard that if it's a what if scenario, it could be related to Valhalla's modern day. Because if you remember in Valhalla, the reader and Layla essentially now, they're in the system, they are looking at different branches. So maybe it's related to that. Again, we don't know. We don't know if it's related to that or not, but it just came into my mind. So I just wanted to focus on that. And especially with Darby writing it, maybe it could be that. Maybe. Again, no idea. But yeah, that's why I'm a bit iffy, because the modern day is what sets the tone for Black Flag. A lot of people don't like it. Again, the gameplay wasn't great, but the story threads that were being told, that was very important. So I don't know how they will handle that. Now, another good thing, of course, is that for the first time in like a decade, they have finally mentioned Assassins and Templars in actual marketing in an Assassin's Creed game. Yeah, I know. This is one of those statements that sounds ridiculous, but think about it. There were no Assassins or Templars in Origins. They weren't, like, we are not even going to talk about Odyssey. Valhalla didn't have Assassins or Templars. They had the Orders of the Ancient and the hidden ones. Same with Mirage, of course. And then in Shadows, Assassins were supposed to be there, but instead we focused on the League of the Hidden Ones. That name is so offensive to me, and like this pisses me off. I'm not even going to talk about it. Anyway, this is the first time we're seeing Assassins and Templars back, so great there. Now, another thing, and this is very, very important to me specifically, it's like Ubisoft finally heard me. It's that finally, when you crouch down, there is no crosshair. At least it wasn't in the reveal. So clearly there should be a setting in the game to turn it off. So when you're crouching down, that dot in the middle of the screen doesn't come up. Unless, of course, you're aiming, which is where you need the crosshair for. So finally, Ubisoft has heard me, because I've been bitching about this since 2020, since Valhalla came out. I've been talking about this since Valhalla came out. Finally, they did it. So yeah. And speaking of UI, I actually saw another interesting thing. They actually have the controls. I think the controls will be closer to the older games rather than the modern RPG titles, which again makes sense because this is an action game, not an RPG game. So what I saw was that the assassinate button is the triangle, or Y if you're on an Xbox controller, which is interesting because usually in the RPG games they were tied to the attack button. So clearly they are going in a different route here. Now attack I think is still going to be with the triggers and the shoulder button, but clearly assassinate is with the triangle. So finally they have decoupled this button, which was such a stupid decision to begin with. Like, who in their right minds thought that that was a good idea? I don't know. I always remapped my controls anyway because it was just bothering me. So now, yeah, they are already unbound, so that's great. Now, more exciting things, of course, the sailing in Black Flag. I mean, that was already pretty elite. Like, people still want to play that game. In fact, the fact that people are still comparing, like, Windrose just came out and people were like, oh, finally we have the modern Black Flag again. So, like, that's what people wanted for a long time, and it was already there. It was a good system. So now they're improving on it. You have alternate firing modes. You have more tactics. The seas are more alive than ever, even though they were pretty alive even back then. So all of that sounds really great. All of that is being implemented, I think, in a tasteful manner. It's not going to ruin the balance of Black Flag, but it looks good. It feels good from what I've seen. At least I haven't played it, obviously. So yeah, all of that sounds fine. Just exploring the world with sea shanties in the background just makes me nostalgic. I'm gonna go play Black Flag again. So yeah, there's that. Now, of course, another thing is the combat. Now, combat is again something I was a bit mixed about. And in fact, this is the second time I'm recording this video because I already recorded it. And then I went up and then I went to Twitter and then I saw that the director of the game, he mentioned that they already have taken the feedback about the combat, about the VFX and the audio cue sort of not looking great because, as I said in my earlier recording that, the way the chain kills look very odd, that Edward just magically speeds up and there is a puff of smoke, and every time there is a parry there is like a huge clash of swords and a huge orange blast happening every single time. So they definitely said that they are going to tone it down, so that's great. If they can just tone it down a little bit, I think it will work. I think it will be fine. So that was my big criticism of combat. So clearly that is being fixed, and even more than that, the way the combat works, I would say this is a good middle ground between what combat used to be and what combat is now. Essentially, it's like a Mirage combat, but with more of the ability style combat of Shadows or Odyssey. So I like it. It's not the RPG stuff. You don't need to wail at a guy for like 10-15 hours to actually kill him. So that's great. But it's also not the older counter kill combat system from Black Flag. Now, I personally like Black Flag systems and I'm actually pretty excited. I saw some of the finishers from original Black Flag actually being carried over, so that's great. But yeah, I feel like this might end up being a great combat system, especially with the emphasis on tools, with fighting dirty, like the original trailer in E3 when Blackbeard is describing how Edward, even in fact that trailer plays in the beginning of the game. So when Blackbeard is describing Edward and he says like he fights like a devil dressed as a man, and you can see that Edward is just using his environment to attack people. So, and all of that, like honestly, it kind of is translating into gameplay. So you're using your tools, you're using your pistols. There is quick shot in this game as well. So yeah, it looks like the combat especially is trying to get that vibe of Black Flag while actually expanding on it. It is a mixture of the older and the modern systems. So it's interesting. Definitely it is interesting. And some of the feel of the combat genuinely feels good if they can tone down the VFX and if they can fix that small puff of smoke that comes about every time Edward has a chain kill. It makes no sense. There's a perfect takedown and chain kill, they need to tone down the VFX a little bit. But clearly they have heard it and they are working on it. So now from combat we move to stealth, and oh my god. So okay, I like Black Flag stealth. I have actually put many Black Flag stealth videos on this channel, and while I like that system, it's obviously flawed. Now I also like Shadow's stealth system. I feel Shadows has the best stealth system in the entire franchise. If you talk about just boots on the ground, this traditional stealth, that Shadows is the best. But there was something lacking in Shadows. It was social stealth. Social stealth was nowhere to be seen. Like there is no interactivity with the environment, there is no benches, there is no people you can blend in with. But not in Black Flag. Black Flag still has those features. Now we didn't see them in the trailer, but again, the director confirmed it on Twitter that yes, they are staying faithful to the original game. They will have social stealth elements in the game. Now, maybe it will be toned down, maybe they won't be as relevant as it used to be. We'll have to see. But if they can balance it right, this could be the perfect Assassin's Creed game, at least in terms of its gameplay. So yeah, I am really looking forward to the stealth now, because I already like the stealth in Shadows. They have picked it up and they have just brought it over to Black Flag and it just works. And if they have the social stealth as well, that's 2 thumbs up. One other thing that I wanted to address here is that this is something I tweeted out about, and so I feel like it's my responsibility to talk about it, is that Kenway's fleet is back. I did not expect that. I thought they were going to cut it out, and I tweeted out saying that, oh, remember when they reveal it, that this RPG-fied version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag will not have the RPG elements. And that's egg in my mouth, so I'll take my foot and put it, my unusually large foot, and put it in my mouth. Clearly I was wrong, and clearly fuck me. So yeah, they did implement Kenway's fleet, so it's honestly refreshing to see them not cutting these things out of the game. This is something that it's honestly not that impactful. Half the people won't even engage with it. But the people who like Black Flag, the people who engaged with the game, the people who truly played and understood the game, they wanted this back. This is for the fans. And honestly, the fact that they're willing to do this says a lot. Now, I want to move to the only section of this entire presentation that I didn't quite like. And that, unfortunately, is parkour. Now I want to start with mentioning that one guy on my YouTube channel in the last video who commented that why would they not have parkour from the original game? They're making Black Flag remake. They should obviously have it, and yes, they should obviously have it, and they obviously don't. So yeah, okay, I don't want to clown on it too much. It's not that bad. Like, this is the Mirage system essentially. This is sort of a weird combination between, I can see Mirage in there, I can see Shadows in there, I can see Origins in there actually. Some of the ejects are actually from Origins. So I can see like the modern system, but it's better. The side ejects are there, of course, and now of course after the entire push that the community made to get free ejects back, to get actual manual jumping back, clearly those are in the game right now. So this might end up being better than the original Black Flag in some ways, but in some other ways not so much. I'm seeing that same stuttering animation. Like every time Edward gets on a beam, he slows down, he waits and then jumps out. That was not the case with the original. It was a lot smoother than that, because you can actually carry your momentum. It feels like this time, every time you're on a beam, your momentum just stops, which is not so good for a system like this. And I'll put a comparison right now on the screen. Look at the gameplay. I don't know if I'm going to put it on left, but you can see the recent gameplay and original gameplay. I try to match it as much as I can. So if you look at both gameplay, you will be able to see that clearly, that look at the stuttering that is happening in the recent version of it. That is actually carried over from Mirage. So yeah, unless if they can fix it, I would be really grateful. Just this one tweak, and I think this could be a decent system. So yeah, otherwise it will just feel more sluggish and it will feel slow. So again, I don't know, these things might change. They still have a month, and I don't think this will take much of a change, to be fair. So we'll see what happens. But Parkour is the only one I'm a little bit iffy about. But yeah, one thing I did want to mention, and unexpectedly it has been solved, is that in original Black Flag, or rather the original AC3 system, they made the moronic decision of combining sprint with climb up. So what happened is that you climbed everything without wanting to, or you had to let go of the sprint button, essentially slow down to a crawl, or the only other option was just keep climbing. Or if you wanted to climb something, because you were already in your sprint state, the moment you hit the stick it started climbing, so it was very difficult to get that aiming right. But here, since they are using the version from Mirage and Shadows, and since they have a specific climb up button and it's not linked to the sprint, now you can just sprint. So that's brilliant, actually. I like that, and that's excellent. Man, honestly, everything that I've seen from this game so far, I'm liking. I am really enjoying this, and well, we'll see when the game comes out. Even the parkour, which I'm a little bit iffy about, there are some good things that I saw there. So who knows, man? Black Flag is already a game that I love, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So let's see. The Resynced is going to come out on July 9th. Overall, I feel like it looks decent. It looks really good. This is probably going to outsell Assassin's Creed Shadows, which Ubisoft desperately needs that. So let's hope that happens. And if Ubisoft actually sees this game perform well, maybe they will reconsider about making the bloated garbage RPGs that they have been making for the last pretty much a decade. So hopefully this works out for us, and hopefully the franchise can get back to some resemblance of itself. And well, I'm a sucker, I'm going to buy it anyway. So see you on July 9th. So do let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think, and what do you guys think about the reveal. What do you guys think about this video? I know there's going to be a lot of background noise with the birds chirping, with the cars and all that. I'll try to eliminate them as much as I can, but unfortunately, again, I live with a roommate, so I can't disturb him. So I have to come outside to record. So do let me know what do you think about the new format, and I will leave you guys in peace.